and onions. What a breakfast. So let's get right to the nitty-gritty of the story. I can tell you more about Bantayan Island, and when I'm done, you will know whether or not this is a place you would like to visit and or when to visit Bantayan Island. Because I will tell you now that we are now in the Philippines in the rainy season. So from this week, last week on till the middle of January, it's going to rain a lot. So do you want to go on vacation in the rainy season in the Philippines? I did that twice. It was a disaster both times. And once was the week of Thanksgiving, once was the week of Christmas, thereabouts, a few days before and a few days after. Both were for 10 and 14 days, respectively. So Christmas, Thanksgiving, November, December, and the end of October is not the kind of place you want to come and spend your vacation dollars in the Philippines in general. And then certainly not if you have specific plans without knowing if your plans can be fulfilled. So what I would choose to spend my vacation dollars on, and what I do spend my vacation dollars on, is snorkeling and or scuba diving in the past. I went twice during the rainy season to Palawan, once to Bacolod. It was a disaster. Two different destinations, both in the rainy season, and both were a disaster. So let me just tell you, if you want to go on vacation, Bantayan Island. Let's just start with Bantayan Island because it's in the headlines up there. It's in the title. What is your itinerary to go to Bantayan Island? What is it that you want to do? If you wish to sit on a white sand beach, a beautiful white sand beach with a beautiful view of the ocean in a resort for a relatively inexpensive vacation, and that's your plan, to sit on a beach, not necessarily go swimming or snorkeling or scuba diving, but sitting on a beach, then that's a good plan. It's a beautiful, there are many, many beautiful resorts on Bantayan Island, many. Even the resort that I stayed in, Rick's Paradise Resort, the view, the beach, the grounds, they get an A++. A++ is as good as it gets. The price is an A+. They had great prices, and you can make a deal with the owner for several days, at a time. He gives you the same deal that they have on the internet. So it was a beautiful place, and it had a beautiful beach. However, if you wanted to get involved with whether or not you could go swimming from that beach, well, the answer is yes and no. At high tide, you can tool around, T-O-O-L, tool around, in about 36 to 40 inches of water. At low tide, there's mud for 900 feet. 900 feet. That's a fifth of a mile through 6 inches of mud. To get to a set of buoys that says it's deep water, but I never got that far. So the reason for that is because it's an island, and you want to picture a dish, an upside down dish. So in the middle of the dish is, let's say, the resorts and the beaches. And then the dish comes down on an angle like that. Let me get a dish. Hold on, I'm going to get a dish. I'll explain this to you so you understand it. From a marine perspective, I'll explain to you why the island is not swimmer, scuba, and snorkeling friendly at low tide. So let me get a little dish, and then I'll explain it to you so that you can understand it. hopefully. So the island is not a coral. There is coral on the island, but the island is not like a coral atoll. Atoll is like something, a coral outcropping. The island is shaped like a dish. So this is the beach. This is where the hotels are, all around the island. This is the island. And then at high tide, the water is like this, about 36 to 40 inches. But at low tide, the water is down here. And you'd have to walk from this lower plane out towards deep water ocean, clear water in the ocean, what we call clean water, clear water. You'd have to walk about I thought it was 600. It goes from 600 feet of low tide mud to 900 feet where I was on that side of the island at Rick's Paradise Resort. However, the view of the ocean at high tide is spectacular. And I think I paid 1,300 pesos a night, which is about $27 a night, which is really good. The rooms were clean, the sheets were clean, the pillows were clean, the apartment was clean, the property was clean, the trees were well groomed. However, there's no swimming at low tide, and that's problematic and systemic. Systemic, for those of you who don't know what systemic is, it means it's all encompassing. So the whole island is shaped like a dish. Sealy Bond, you made your channel 3 days ago. You're trolling me. I don't know you, and I really don't care what you have to say. All you came here to do was interrupt the conversation, and now you have been interrupted permanently. You've been all over every channel on YouTube. This is a heads up for you people that see this guy, Sealy Bond. He's on every channel asking silly questions. Thanks, Scott. So if you look at a geographical map of Bantayan Island, you're going to see that this formation, the island is about 3 feet higher than water level, high tide, mean high tide, MHT, mean high tide means MHT, about 3 feet higher. But then at low tide, just right off the beach, and the beach is beautiful, it's higher than the water by 3 feet, but then you have to walk 900 feet to deep water. No one's going to do that. So what I saw on the island, in everywhere I went, and what I saw from a topographical or cartographic mapping, is that everywhere is a long distance at low tide to deep water. But again, we are talking about what is it that you want to do. If you live in Cebu City and you want to go to a white sand beach with a beautiful view of the ocean, Bantayan Island is your #1 priority to go to. Should be top of the list, because that's what you can do there. You can go to a beautiful resort for $50. The most expensive resorts that I saw there was the Coucou Bar and Grill, was about $50. That includes breakfast. And that's the best restaurant, in my opinion, on the island, the Coucou Bar and Grill. It'll be in the description box. But as far as swimming, snorkeling, scuba diving, it's not the place you want to spend your vacation dollars. Now, in as far as rainy season, typhoon season, cyclone season, and or storm season, you don't want to go there during that season, this season, because the infrastructure on the streets is being revamped. everywhere. They're building highways at a 10-inch concrete, but there's no. That's the government building those roads because the whole island is designated a nature preserve, and basically it's called the wetlands. And in the wetlands, a majority of the island is wetlands, jungle, and there are certain places of the island which is designated swamp or swamp lands. Now, a swamp does not necessarily have to be inside a jungle. A swamp could be someplace where someone built a road and put stores on the sides of the road, and then in back of the stores, in front of the stores, on the other side of the street, that's still swampland. Now, why wouldn't you want to go there during rainy season? Well, it can rain for 10 days in a row all day. So this has nothing to do with the view of the beach. Being on a vacation when it rains for 10 days, I can tell you my Bacolod and my Paladin vacations, had I not gone to those places. Well, Bacolod was no pun intended, a total washout. Bacolod, it rained for 11 days. And I'm talking rain all day and all night, never stopped raining. Now, I did go to the city in Bacolod, and what I wanted to see, the mayor's building, or the courthouse, it was closed because of rain. Now, they have a big mall. If you want to see a huge mall, absolutely big, beautiful, gorgeous, huge mall, well, then you have problems inside your head that you want to go to Bacolod to see a huge mall. It would take you 2 days to stop in front of every store in the mall for a minute to go through that mall. It takes 10 minutes to walk across the supermarket, maybe 5 if you walk fast. It's a huge mall. Absolutely. But moving on. Palawan would have been a washout, but I was diving. So divers don't care if it's raining because once you get in the water, you're in the water. It doesn't matter how hard it's raining. You wouldn't know that. You wouldn't know if there was 5-foot seas above you once you get down 20 feet or so. So do you want to go to Bantayan Island for vacation now, this time of the year? No. What do you want to go there for? If you're going there to sit on a beach, excellent place to go to. Now, if you're going to go to Bantayan Island, and because it's a nature preserve and you're going to walk around, I suggest that you wear high boots. I think Scott sent me I know that Scott sent me a link this morning in my Skype that, oh, wait a second, wait a minute, why are we here? Scott sent me a notice in Skype that cobras love swampy water, and I can testify to that. So, but I will also tell you that I don't know what kind of habitat animals, mammals, are on the island to go see. Even though the whole island is designated as a nature preserve, let me tell you what's going on where I live, in Bohol. In fact, in the Philippines, in general, there are no more mammals, or iguanas, or wild pigs, or wild boars. There's no deer. Pretty much the monkey population has been decimated. Anywhere along the shoreline on the reefs where there's a large population, there are no fish because there are no regulations. Okay, Scott says, Philippines cobras love to feed on rats and feral cats and puppies. Philippines cobras. And are there cobras in the Philippines? I never saw one, but they say they exist. But that's another animal that the Filipino people have decimated the population of. I can go out to my reef behind my house. We're a beautiful reef. It's got coral and maybe 7 or 8 different types of elkhorn and fire coral. It's a beautiful reef. There's no fish. No fish. No fish. No lobsters. No octopus. No life on the reef. Everything on the reef that's alive, swimming, crawling, or underway, snails, octopus, baby conch, crabs, if it's alive, every day the Filipino people go out and scour every inch of the ocean and take everything, no matter the size, whether they're infantile fish, juvenile fish, schools. I've seen entire schools of baby snappers, seine, S-A-N-E, S-A-I-N, seine netted. The whole school. None of the fish were bigger than this. Thousands, 5-gallon buckets full of baby juvenile snappers. And they put it in a bucket and they go home and make soup out of it. So if you're going to Bantayan to see the wildlife that they talk about on the internet, I don't think you're going to see any of it. Daisy and I walked around for days on Bantayan Island. I never saw a rat. I never saw, to be honest with you, we lived on a hotel right on the beach, Rick's place. I never saw a cat, and I never saw a stray dog. There was a dog, but it wasn't a stray dog. So, I don't know. Never saw a single animal in all the time. We walked, we walked upwards of 5 miles, 10 kilometers, just to take a walk around. Daisy loves walking. I like walking. And we just walked around the whole area to see what was going on. We walked from Rick's place to the ruins. That was close to a mile, maybe a little more, a little less. Then we walked halfway to town, which was almost another mile. Then on another day, we walked from the port out of town quite a bit. Another mile. We did see some stray dogs in the town, but that's normal. But what we did see was a lot of roads that were flooded. A lot of roads. I mean, if it wasn't a new road under construction, it was flooded to the point where when it was raining, you couldn't walk on the streets. I posted a video this morning that the rain was over. It was about 2 hours after it rained, but the streets in Bantayan Island proper were so flooded that the band could not walk down the streets. So I think this is an ingenious idea. The municipality of Santa Fe went and got 2 huge 18-yard dump trucks, or 12-yard dump trucks. And they put 36 or so members of a walking, marching band in the trucks. That's how flooded the streets were in Santa Fe proper, not outside Santa Fe, because the parade was going to take place a few days later that we saw. Hey, Nomad, thank you for stopping by. The parade was going to, so the parade band could not walk down the streets. That's how much puddles there was in the streets. So you could walk around the puddles, but that's not what a parade does. So even 2 hours after a rain, the streets were too flooded to walk down. When we first got to the town, the street is here, and then there's a curb, and the curb is about 10 inches tall here. This is the curb. And from the curb to the store is about 22 feet. And that was concave, like that, and it was a 4.5-inch puddle. Not in front of one store, but in front of 22 stores. Yes, the Typhoon Nauru, or Nafru, it happened on September 25th. Yes, that was the storm that it completely swamped. Swamped is a good word. It completely swamped Bantayan Island. And then we also, I have many videos of us at the tail end of the typhoon in 5, 6, 7 foot waves out in the open ocean between Bantayan Island and the port of Hagnaya. So yes, but that was the typhoon, but it also rained the next day because we went to the same swamp. It's the perfect word when describing. Well, or no matter, you may have missed the beginning. Bantayan Island is listed as a nature preserve wildlife refuge for the most part. 131,000 hectares, I think it was. But anyway, the island is listed as a nature preserve and a wetlands. So wetlands has swamps in it, or wetlands is a swamp, or a swamp is a wetlands. So that's what the island is listed on underneath the Historical Society. Pretty much, not all of it, but the meat of the island is listed as a wetlands. So you could not get to the store. Oh man, there were roads, talking about swamp monsters, where there are roads that Daisy and I wanted to walk down to head towards Santa Fe Road from where we were on Rick's Place. We couldn't walk. To give you an idea, this was after the rain, after we had lunch. The Cheeto factory. There is a Cheeto factory on Bantayan Island. For those of you who like Cheetos, there's an actual Cheeto factory on Bantayan Island. It's no potato chips, no popcorn, no pretzels, but there is an orange. Well, Cheetos are orange. An orange Cheeto factory, and on Bantayan Island. So So Daisy and I started walking down some roads. If we weren't on a main road, we were not going anywhere. We were walking down one road. We were going to go see a specific. Wanted to go to the main road from where we were, and then walk down the main road to see what kind of storefronts were on there. Everybody knows there's a Cheeto factory on Bantayan Island. This is common knowledge. So we could not get to. Now, the Santa Fe Road is here, and then the Ocean Road is here, where Rick's Place is here, Rick's Paradise Resort, and Santa Fe Road is over here somewhere. Maybe, well, you've heard stories. Santa Fe Road to Rick's Place is more than half a mile because the road goes like this. So it's a solid half a mile. And then every so often there's a strap from the Ocean Road to the main road. So we decided to walk down the strap. We never got to the Cheeto factory. This is what we were doing. We were going down this strap road, S-T-R-A-P, strap road, to the Cheeto factory. And there was not a puddle, it was a swamp. We would have had to walk through clear water on top of mud, 4.5 to 5 or 6 inches of water on top of mud that was 18 to 30 feet in the middle of the road, and there was no way to walk around the puddle or swamp. So we had to abandon going down that road to the Cheeto factory because it's on the map. The map, dang. No, this is serious. That was one puddle, and that was a rut. Now, after the rain, we went back the next day to go down to see the Cheeto factory. It's a very famous Cheeto factory. And so after the rain, the next day, it didn't rain that morning, we tried it again. The puddle was still 20 feet, the whole width of the street, and 3 or 4 inches deep. And I had a pair of brand new sneakers on. I wasn't going to walk through that mess. So we never got to the Cheeto factory. We wanted to. I wanted to make a video, but I never did get there. You know that. Everybody knows I didn't get to make the videos I wanted to make when I went there. Unfortunately, I was videoless. Plus, I had the drone with me, and the whole time we were on Bantayan Island, the entire time, there was no signal to load a 1-minute video from Rick's Hotel. Now, this is another thing. You people think you're going to go to Bantayan Island and work on your computer. You're not. We got there, I don't remember. The infrastructure of the internet is garbage on Bantayan Island. We got there before Hurricane or Typhoon Noru, whatever it was, or Farnu. It's on the internet. You could go back, typhoons, September 25th, that was my birthday. That was the day it struck the island. We got to Rick's place. I had a 1-minute video, the one that I just posted, the one with the puddles, the one with the parade in it. We had a 1-minute video. We wanted to load it. It loaded from the time we got home that night till 11 or 12 o'clock at night, and then it failed. So it loaded for 7 hours for a 1-minute and 30-second video. The next 3 days, we had no internet at all. In fact, we couldn't even make a cell phone call from there. I made a cell phone call to Daisy's cell phone and texted. It took about 45 minutes for the text to go through, but that was that day. To call the tricycle driver, we had to leave a text message early, an hour early, because I don't know why it wasn't working. So the infrastructure on the island is not good. But what else is there to do on the island is what this video is supposed to be about. There's nothing to do on Bantayan Island except the main road has a lot of restaurants. I ate at 4 restaurants. I would only recommend one. I'm sure there are 10 others that are perfectly okay to eat in, but 3 of them, it was just junk food. You know, I ate food at a restaurant that was edible. It wasn't bad. I didn't get sick, but it wasn't good. But Coucou Bar and Grill, that's the #1 place you want to go to. When you go there, you'll know why. Every item on the menu is reasonably priced, or what we call inexpensive and excellent quality vegetables. Now, you may have heard a clown, not a clown, a guy, the guy who runs the Cheeto factory. You may have heard, no, I don't think he runs it. I think he owns it. You may have heard someone say, it takes too long for them to make your meal. You're sitting in a restaurant, dude. That's what you go to a restaurant for, to relax. The time it would take you to cook the food is the time it takes them to cook the food. And then Coucou Bar and Grill, I believe all the vegetables were chopped fresh for each meal. Or chopped within a few hours of the meal because every vegetable was crisp. The Coucou Bar and Grill had something called chop suey. It had baby corns, the little baby corns, not Wiener Schnitzel. The size of a half a Wiener Schnitzel, the baby corns were. And when you ate the baby corn, it tasted like baby corn. It had little potatoes in it, the little like russet potatoes, I think they call. You could taste the potato because it wasn't pre-cooked. It was cooked fresh. The ingredients were put in when they were supposed to be put in, not to get the flavors mixed up. The Coucou Bar and Grill, I ate that for 4 days, had 8, 9 meals, perfect meals from the Coucou Bar and Grill. I'd recommend them. That's the only place on the island I'd recommend. The other places, not so much. But what else is there to do on Bantayan Island? There is nothing else to do on Bantayan Island. If you're going to go snorkeling and look for sea life, you're not going to see any sea life. You look at the island, it's 90% of the shoreline is sand. You're not going to see much life on a sandy bottom. You will see it in the coral, an area where there's coral. So forget about snorkeling or scuba diving unless you're going out on a boat. Now, the only boat, now I did not want to go out on a boat, but I looked it up for you. The only boat is a bunker boat day trip. It says 9 hours. You leave in the morning, whatever time, and the trip is 9 hours. Unless the weather's bad, it could be less. It could be 8 hours. So it says. That trip is $288 per person. It does not include a mask or a snorkel or food. It just includes a boat ride and some entry fees into some nature preserves, which are about probably $4 for each nature preserve per person. So you're paying $288 to be on a boat with maybe 10 other people. I don't know how many people go on it. I would never pay that much money to go on a boat. But, or you could go, oh, this gets better. It gets better. When you get to Bantayan Island, you can also do a trip, a liveaboard trip. That's $350 per person per day. So, you could stay at the Ritz-Carlton in New York City for that kind of money. And that, anyway, the place is not where I would ever spend another vacation dollar. In order to get me back to Bantayan Island, for me to go back to Bantayan Island, I'm done with Bantayan Island. I'll never go back there. Now, if you paid me to go back there, a large sum of money, and included my time, what my time is worth to go there for traveling, I don't even know that I would go. I'm not real sure I would want to go. It's just nothing to do there. That's the point of this video. So, nothing for me. If you want to sit on a white sand beach, Bantayan Island is the place to be. But there's no aquatic life. There's no... You're not going to go in the water with a snorkel and a mask and see any kind of life at all, period. You're going to see a sandy bottom. You're not going out on a boat for less than $200. The boat fee for the day was $288, 16,800 pesos. That's a lot of money to go on a bunker boat and then go to 2 islands, and they put you on the island, and then there were restaurants to have breakfast. So you're going to go on a boat, and if you didn't bring food, you're going to have to sit in a restaurant for an hour, twice, maybe once or twice. And it's costing you, if it's costing you $288, $8 times, it would be $35 an hour. You're going to sit in a restaurant, it's going to cost you $35 an hour in lost time. And you're going to be sitting in a restaurant paying premium prices for island food. You might pay $8 for a hamburger. I don't know. I know that we have an island out here. They charge you $3 for a bottle of soda, a can of Coke, $3, which is not much more than they charge you on an airline. They charge you $2 for a 7-ounce can of Coke on an airplane now. So you're at the mercy of what you don't bring for lunch. You're at the mercy to go there. I would never go back. I would never spend another dollar on Bantayan Island. But if you live in Cebu, and that's where you want to be, that's where, and you want to be on a white sand beach and you just want to go there and chill, that's the place to go to. But other than that, there's no reason for anybody to go to Bantayan, even to get to the Cheeto factory. It's not possible. The road was not closed, but you have to ford, F-O-R-D, you have to ford a 30-foot puddle on a rain day. Nobody's going to do that. Now, I know somebody did it, but I'm sure somebody did it. But it wouldn't be me. It was an experience. I heard all kinds of stories. Oh, yeah, the #1 tourist location. Then I'm on the ship. You go on a carrier, car float. I'm on the ship going to Bantayan Island. There's a guy. You're going to see this video coming up. There's a guy with a baby German Shepherd dog. Beautiful little dog. You don't see a lot of... This is a real Shepherd with his ears clipped. This was a proper German Shepherd puppy. Probably about 5 months old. He's standing at the top of the stairs in the video that I'm going to release, probably around Christmas time. And, "Hi, how you doing?" He says to me, or I said to him, but we said hello. First time, he yells at me. See, Filipinos will throw out 2 words. It's a question, it's a statement, it's an inquiry. You have to figure that out. So I said, yeah. But then I thought about it. First time what? First time on a boat? First time on this boat? First time going to Bantayan Island? Yes, sir. Many nice hotels on the island. I didn't ask you that. I asked you, have you ever heard of the runes? I misspoke. So I asked him, have you ever heard of the runes? Because I realized that conversation was going to be short-lived. Have you ever heard of the runes? Yes, sir. Many nice hotels on the island. So this is something you have to understand. I don't understand their language, and they don't understand English. It's not hard to understand. It's not hard to comprehend. If I said stamtestroni, or taki, or shuruba, or nakrentka, or petkwatka, nakrenta, gwusht, mortek, tamtu, to you, what does that mean? It means nothing to you. It's Russian, Polish, actually. Do widzenia, do svidania, hello, goodbye. It means nothing to you. And that's what English means to most of the people in the Philippines. Even the ones that went to high school and learned some English. So when I said, have you ever heard of the runes? Yes, sir, there are many beautiful hotels on the island. That's not the question. That's not the answer. So I said thank you and walked away. You'll see it in the video. So I did interview the captain of the ship. We talked about my barge, my crane barge, and my Z drive. It's a Z as in zebra drive on the barge. He knew exactly what that was because he had just worked in Saudi Arabia for 20 years on a ship with Z drive. So my Z drive and his Z drive, he knew what a Z drive was. We talked about it for maybe 3 minutes. I talked to him, and then he went into the pilot house to captain the ship, and I went about videotaping a 42-minute video on the ship. But my point is, after the video, I said to a couple of the deckhand, you're going to see the deckhand. The deckhand's name was Guapo. And the other guy, the other deckhand, his name was Doctor. I think he was like a rapper or something. He was a cool guy, but so I said to the deckhands, what's a good place to go after the video ended? Because 42 minutes of looking at the ocean and a ship, that's enough. Oh, the ruins. Oh, the ruins? Yeah, the ruins. That's a nice place to go. I heard about the ruins when I went for my first meal at the Coucou bar. Where's a nice place to go to tourist? Oh, the ruins. The ruins. Oh, everybody tells you the ruins. Everybody that speaks English tells you to go to the ruins. So we went to the ruins. Damn near ruined my vacation, the ruins. But we didn't go right away. We went the next morning. And the ruins is just an old German fella lived in a beautiful location, not in the middle of nowhere, basically. Because that house that he lived in was probably 25 or 30 or 40 years old. The ruins have been a destroyed structure for 10 years or so. I don't really know, but it's a very long time based on the oxidation of the rebar in the concrete. And across the street from the ruins, there's a restaurant, but that's new, and I didn't eat there. And then down the block from the ruins is another house that's about 40 or 50 years old, wood house. And then one new house made out of concrete that's probably 15 years old. They want 14 million pesos for it. You'll see what 14 million pesos buys you. 14 million pesos on Bantayan Island was the asking price. This house is huge, huge. It's probably 35 feet across and 35 feet back, and it's 2 floors that you could see. And then the view from the front of the house is the ocean. It's on the lee side of the street, the land side of the street. The property is huge, but the view, and it's all sliding glass. It's a beautiful house. It's 14 million pesos. So for 14 million pesos, you get an idea what you're going to get on Bantayan Island. A huge property with a freaking huge freaking house. Huge house. Tremendous, tall, high up in the air, overlooking the ocean. Right next to the ruins, about a block away. So that's, if someone wants to buy it, I mean, it is a beautiful location. Oh, God, this is overlooking the ocean. There's nothing better than looking at water from your front door. Unless you live in a swamp, then that's probably not the thing you want to do, looking at water. But looking at the ocean, a lake, a river, a stream is the most beautiful thing that you could wake up to in the morning. So let me look to see if there's any comments that I missed. I'm not really paying attention to the comments yet. I got to go to my home page, my channel. And then, let's see. Okay. Scott says, Okay, let's go right. Oh, we have a lot of. Scott Del Fuego says, Mr. Michael Fazio is a real man. He's a true friend to those that are loyal. That's true. That is true. Hey, and I'm going to talk to the guy out there whose wife is known as the I, as in island. I saw you left a comment on one of my pages. Maybe I'll make a video about the 80s. harass me some more. Go ahead. Harass me some more. So, we'll talk about spritzers. Does anybody know what a spritzer is? No. The answer, I can ask and answer that question. I will explain what a spritzer is, how to make them, who taught me how to make them, and where you store the equipment to make a proper spritzer. So keep that in mind. The 80s. I remember them well. So let's see. Steam It. Scott Del Fuego put up a comment called Steam It. And then that's probably about Cobra. Okay, so let's get that link. I'm going to copy that link, and I'm going to post that in there. This is about some dangerous snakes that live in the Philippines, but I don't know per se Bantayan, if Bantayan has king cobras, but what Bantayan does have is 4 species of deadly frogs. And the reason I mention this is some people have dogs. I don't know why you'd want to bring a dog on vacation. I used to put my dog in a kennel. But some people, they bring their dog with them. On Bantayan Island, I never saw one when I was there. I never saw one, but I heard about them. There are deadly frogs on Bantayan Island. About four types of frogs. So if your dog has a tendency to attack small animals and it bites one of those deadly frogs, somehow or another, somehow they're poisonous. I didn't read about it. I don't care about it because I don't have a dog. And I myself don't touch frogs because I know frogs have poison on their skin and they can emit poison. I don't touch frogs. I mean, green bullfrogs when I was a kid, yeah, but other than that, we have frogs out in my backyard like this big. Brown frogs, they're as big as a coffee cup. They walk around. If they want to walk around, I don't bother them. I don't kill them. I don't care they're there. But I don't touch frogs because frogs are poisonous. So on Bantayan Island, there are poisonous frogs. There are snakes on Bantayan Island. So if you're going to do a nature walk, if you have cowboy boots or waders, I'd wear waders if I was going to walk through that nature preserve. Because there's a snake that's not known to attack human beings on the island, but it could. There's nothing stopping it from doing that. And it's not anti-human, but if you step on it, it'll bite your ankle. And there is a poisonous snake on the island of Bantayan that they talk about on the internet that will kill you. Or I don't know much about snakes, poison. I know that it says it's poisonous and to avoid them, so I don't bother with snakes. If I see a snake, snakes don't bother me. They don't bother me at all. If I saw a snake where it didn't belong, I had a snake living under my refrigerator for 2 years. Snakes are great. It was a garden snake, but I didn't care that it lived there. Somehow or another, it found its way in and out of the house. Every once in a while, I'd look over on the floor. It was about 3.5 feet long. It didn't bother me. I didn't bother it. I think it liked the refrigerator because it was warm under there. But snakes don't bother me at all. And plus, they kill rodents. Now, I didn't have rodents at the time, probably because I had a snake. I don't know. But I like snakes. I don't want one. I had snakes when I was a kid, but so I don't know much about snakes, so I don't touch snakes, I don't touch frogs, and I don't walk around in swamps. I did that in Florida, but I wore high boots most of the time or waders when I went into to chop down trees in a swamp or in wetlands. But on Bantayan Island, there's stuff that'll kill your dog. So you got to be careful if you bring a dog. If you go to move there and you have a dog, there's no way you're going to protect your dog from a frog jumping around in your yard. That's just not going to happen. Why? It's a jungle. It's a swamp. Bantayan Island is designated swampland, and it's wetlands. So let's go back up here. We got that. I don't know why that disappeared. I do know why that. So the daily science, Philippine cobra, the deadliest cobra in the planet. Who the hell wrote that? The deadliest cobra in the planet. Let's start out with, wow, the deadliest cobra in the planet. You know that guy doesn't speak English. Zam, 398. Okay. Good morning, science geeks. It's a brand new day. Okay, so this is just a college student. Snakes are elongated, legless, carnivorous reptiles. Many species of snakes. How they go about it. And there's a king cobra. Now, I don't think there's king cobras in the Philippines. And let me tell you why. If there's no king cobras in the Philippines, it's not because there were never king cobras in the Philippines, because they love swamps. It's because the Filipino people have eaten for food every mammal on every island, everywhere I've been. Where I live, when I first got here, I live in a jungle habitat where I live, the province, jungle. It's also, there's no forest, it's all jungle. It's not wetlands though. Where I live, I'm right now 5.5 or 6 feet above mean high water. MHW or MHT. However, just up the road, 100 feet is 10 feet above mean high water. So I don't live in a swamp. I live in a jungle / the edge of a jungle, because the ocean is right there. For those of you who don't know where I live, here is the ocean. This is why I moved here. This is why I'm going to build a hotel here. Right there, that's the ocean. They just rebuilt that barge. It's going to be a dive instruction barge where they're going to have tanks and a compressor, and then that's going to go out on the reef. So I live on the edge of a jungle. But I will tell you this, when I first got here, like the snake is gone. Somebody killed the snake, somebody ate the snake, my snake. I had the snake in my house for 2 years, nobody bothered it, but somebody either ate it or killed it, I don't know. There were iguanas here. An iguana is a big lizard. Okay, the big green ones, 3.5, 4 feet. Every once in a while you'd see one on the tree right in front of my house. I'd see it at night. They crawl up and the iguanas sleep. They hang on to the tree right underneath where the coconuts are, coconut trees. They like living in coconut trees. And they just put their claw in the tree. They go to sleep. There used to be iguanas here. No more. And that's not because iguanas don't exist. That's because the locals, this place has built up quite a bit recently in the last 7 years. There's no more iguanas. They ate them all. There's no more wild pigs. They ate them all. There's no more wild boar. They ate them all. There's no more monkeys where there used to be monkeys. They ate them all. Filipino people live off the land and off the ocean. There are no laws against it, so they do it. But now there's no habitat, or no more iguanas. Now, are iguanas useful? Not really, but they're pretty. They're fun to watch. Can you eat them? Yeah, you can eat them. Would I eat them? I would. If they cooked it, I'm not going to go kill an iguana and skin it. And for iguana meat, you can buy it in the store if you want. I don't know about now, but you used to be able to buy it in Florida. But there are no more iguanas. There are no more. There's very little habitat left. And out on the reef, there's no life on the reef. You'll see little fishes like that, little fish. When you get to the edge of the reef, to the wall, then you're going to see where you have your thermal. Your thermal comes up off the ocean. As soon as you get to the far side of the reef, before it goes down, drops down into a wall dive, it's going to get cold. The water's going to go down into the 70s, not much lower than that. At the wall, up to the wall, there's no marine life, nothing. Now, that's because wherever the Filipinos can legally put nets, they call them drift nets, DRIFT, drift nets. They can legally put drift nets. I see them do it. So I guess it's legal. If it's not legal, I don't know about it. And I don't care, because nothing's going to change here. But I see them put drift nets, which are illegal in Florida, right outside my house when I'm swimming or snorkeling. And it's a very fine monofilament, like an 8-pound test or 6-pound test. And anything, they call them gill nets too, G-I-L, gill nets. Anything that swims through it that doesn't fit through the hole, which is about that big, gets caught in the net, and then they reel it in, and that's either for sale or for their dinner. That's normal. That's allowed. Never saw anybody get in trouble for it, so I imagine it's allowed. However, when you get out to the reef where the wall drops off, it's too deep for a drift net. There's really nothing to attach it to because the water out there is about 23 feet just before it drops off. And you can go spearfishing, and out there you'll see fish in 20 feet of water. You'll see right where the wall drops off, right where the thermal comes up. In the thermal, you'll see snappers, about 7 to 10 inch yellow snappers. You'll also see sea turtles, leatherbacks, and whatever other kind of sea turtles there are. When I go out to the buoy, and I haven't been out there in a year, you can see a sea turtle anywhere from 2 feet to 4 foot shells. I don't know what kind of turtles they are. They're usually like right, in the water somewhere where they're far enough to see that it's a turtle, but not. I don't know. If you put 10 turtles in front of me, I wouldn't know what names they were. I don't know anything about turtles. I'm not a turtle type of guy. I like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle the movies. I like those, but as far as turtles, I don't know anything about turtles. But there are turtles out there. Big ones. I think a 3-foot turtle's a big turtle. So there is sea life out there, but the Filipino people, they haven't been able to destroy that species, but if it's juvenile yellowtail snapper, They will seine net them. A seine net, S-A-I-N. A seine net is different from a gill net. They will seine net a juvenile school of any fish and put them in 5-gallon buckets. A gill net will catch any size fish from about 5 inches to 15 inches. But after that, when you get out to the deep water, you got to go spearfishing. And spearfishing is allowed. Snorkeling, spearfishing, not scuba diving, spearfishing. So you'll see where I live, you'll see people go out. There's 2 Chinese men. They come on a motorcycle. They have long spears, a long spear guns. The spear guns are about 6 feet long. I never saw one close up, but they have them, and then they'll go out on the reef, and they have the long fins, and they go free diving, and sometimes they come back with a fish, and sometimes they don't, but they go often. But there's very, very little sea life here, very little. Now at night, there's over 100 boats that go fishing at night. Then they catch yellowtail snapper, big eye snapper, I think they have out there. There are brown groupers, whatever that is, I don't know, I'm not a fisherman. And there are groupers and brown groupers. There were no lobsters. I saw a lobster about a month ago. A guy tried to sell me a lobster, a shovel-nosed lobster, on the street, up the block. He wanted 500 pesos for a shovel-nosed lobster about that long. That's $10 for one shovel-nosed lobster. He probably fished all day for that. I don't know, but I would not. I don't want a shovel-nosed lobster. They're good eating. I've eaten hundreds of them when I worked on a lobster boat, because Key Largo Fisheries didn't take shovel-nosed. At the time, shovel-nosed lobsters were junk. You couldn't sell them. Key Largo Fisheries was paying us, not me, the captain, $2.50 a pound for lobsters. And we would bring in, that's whole live lobsters, in 1997. And we would bring in anywhere from 10 or 15 pounds if we had a bad day, probably not that low, but 30 pounds to 1,000 pounds in a day. And I got paid a salary. I didn't get a cut. Some boats, you get a cut. In our lobster traps, we would catch warm water lobsters, what they call Caribbean lobsters, no claws. Those we sold for $2.50 a pound. The captain sold them. I didn't sell anything. But the shovel-nosed lobsters, Key Largo Fisheries would buy them for 25 cents a pound. People thought they weren't edible. They're more tasty than a regular lobster, and the meat is more tasty, it's softer, and it's 25 cents a pound. So we got all the shovel-nosed lobsters from the boat, and we could get 1, none, or 20. So in the 2 years I worked on a fishing boat, also at the end of the day, we could take 2 pound-and-a-half lobsters, 1.5-pound lobsters back off the boat, each deckhand, 2 lobsters, all the shovel-nosed lobsters, and all the triggerfish. Triggerfish is it's a pretty good-sized fish. How they got in the trap was amazing, but they got in. Usually the triggerfish are about 14 inches long, and they have why they call them a trigger, they have on the top of their fins, at the top, when they get excited, they have a barb that comes up like that. and it's a very pointed barb. It's like a thorn. That's why they call them triggerfish. They're not dangerous. You can handle them easy enough. So we can get all the triggerfish, all the shovel-nosed lobsters. So I've had, my dad came to live with me in the Florida Keys in my house in Key Largo. I have videos of my dad and my brother at the lobster boat at the end of the day. My brother did some great videos out there. He came out on the boat with us with the fish. When we went fishing, my brother was the video man. We have some great videos. My dad and my brother came to live with me for a while, and we ate every night. I brought home 2 lobsters, 8 or 10 shovel-nosed lobsters, and triggerfish every night. Now, my dad loved lobster. Oh, he loved it. Oh, he loved lobster with garlic and butter. He couldn't get enough of it. Our whole life, lobster season, he worked on a tugboat. He always brought lobsters home if they were available, and he saw the lobster boat. He would buy 8 or 10 lobsters for us for Friday night, for our Friday night fish dinner. And he ate so much lobster in the 2 months that he was in Florida Keys. He goes, I don't want any more lobster, Mike. I said, Ted, yeah, I'm done. And I don't know if he ever ate lobster again. I don't know. But he didn't want any more lobster. He was eating lobster for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I remember he came home from Winn-Dixie with like 5 pounds of butter and a couple of kilos of garlic. And he was ready. We had a big steamer pot, and we cooked up lobsters day and night. But anyway, shovel-nosed lobsters. So somebody found the shovel-nosed lobster on the reef, and they wanted $10 for it. Half of that, 3/4 of that, is shell. So now you're paying $20 a pound for lobster here in the Philippines. They're expensive. In the Japanese fish market, that's what they sell for, about 500 pesos for a shovel-nosed lobster, about that long. And they're not even real shovel-nosed lobsters. The shovel-nosed lobsters in Florida, when they got to be that long, which is as big as they grow, they don't grow any bigger than about 9 or 10 inches. They were about 2.5 inches wide. The shovel-nosed lobsters here are about 1 3/4 inches wide. So it's completely different animal, different amount of meat per pound, and I wouldn't pay $10 for a pound of lobster. There's half of that shell, and I had so much seafood. I don't eat seafood. You could give it to me. I said, nah, I don't want seafood. Pain in the neck to cook. It stinks. The guts have to be brought out to the beach. I don't eat much seafood. Daisy likes seafood. Daisy will be back soon, by the way. I know that everybody's dying to say something about Daisy. You've made that mistake twice before, if you can remember correctly. Let me go back to the Cheeto factory is the most interesting place there. Our Nomad. Our Nomad is trolling proper. Louis Pagan-Ponce is in the house. Mayoral Bantayan Island candidate Jimmy swears. Oh, Jimmy's a mayoral candidate. Huh? Very nice. I didn't know that. Swears by the Coucou Bar and Grill. Jimmy approves. Then it's law and can't be disputed. Hey, Louis, thanks for stopping by. I'm sorry I didn't read the comments earlier, because if I put the time toggles on, toggle timestamps, you made that comment at 8:50. That's almost 40 minutes ago. I apologize. Scott says, this channel gives you good information. You know where you can find cheap vegetables, tasty meats, and foods. And the actual swimming is not an activity. And where actual swimming is not an activity. That's true. So our nomad asked at 8:52, is there an expat community on Bantayan Island? I saw no expats. Even on the ship, I didn't. I'd have to review the video to make a clear statement on that. But on the ship on the way there, I did see one man that was sitting, you'll see this man, he was next to Daisy on the cargo ship on the way there, not on the way back. On the way back, I don't remember seeing any expats. I'm sure there was. But on the way there was a young man about 35 years old, big man. And he was with a Filipino wife, and I think he had 3 children. So, yeah, he's an expat. But I did not see, in the Coucou Bar and Grill, I did not see foreigners. In the other restaurant I ate in, the other 3 restaurants, I don't remember seeing foreigners. And when I went to the fiesta in the square, in the town square, I did not see any foreigners. There were foreigners. There had to be, but I didn't see them. I don't remember seeing them. And I know I didn't talk to any. I didn't really get involved with. It was with Daisy, you know. I don't. Daisy's enough for me to talk to when I'm on vacation. There's really, what do you say to a foreigner when you meet them? Hey, how you doing? Where you from? If they're white, they could be from Germany, Iran, Iraq. You might not understand their language anyway. They could be from France. They could be from New York. They could be from Long Island, where I live. And they, oh, hey, I'm from Long Island. You're from Long Island. Hey, how you doing? And then you go on. I don't get involved pretty much with expats or nomads. There's not much. There's really not much to say. We came here. I didn't come here to hang out with expats. I came here to enjoy the ocean. And I got set back quite a bit because of the infection on my leg, which is going away. Dr. Michael Fazio, I fixed it. The doctors did not fix the infection on my leg. I'll tell you about that in a minute, maybe. Lois, I would never, I have not seen the giant bats in the Philippines. I heard about them, but I've never seen one. If I did, I would have made a video. Agnes, hey, honey, how you doing? Yeah, sorry, we missed your call. Okay. You're taking care of Dave's mom. Okay. All right, honey, well, thank you for stopping by. Dave is here also. Dave. Now, Dave has a good channel. Dave has content on his channel. And Dave owns a backhoe. And he's a mechanic. He's a man's man, Dave. And Agnes is a Filipina. And they own a chicken farm. And they sell balut. That egg thing with where the balut is almost, they're almost ready to hatch, and they sell balut. They have several hundred chickens, and that's their business. They sell balut to people in their community, other Filipinos mostly, but other people eat balut. And Dave also does, he buys white elephants. He buys. He goes to a place where there's storage centers, and I guess, I don't know how it works. I guess they open up the door on the storage center, and you can look around, but you can't open up the boxes, and then you can bid on the content of a garage, of a closet. I have no idea how that works. And that's one of Dave's hobbies. And Agnes and Dave make videos of them going through the stuff. And a lot of the stuff is from the 1950s, 60s, 70s. You'll see Dave find an old radio, an old tube radio, or an old clock radio with the numbers that flip over. Sometimes he finds baseball cards. Sometimes he finds comic books, a lot of old suitcases. He finds some interesting stuff that you could use, stuff that I mentioned to Dave before. He had no use for he found some old valises, old suitcases, that like a doctor's bag, but a big one. You know, like a movie studio could buy that stuff with what they call props. And he finds a lot of stuff in those old storage centers. He found one storage center that was stacked floor to ceiling, wall to wall, with Milwaukee tools in the original hard metal boxes, in the original cardboard boxes, unopened. Hole hogs, skill saws, worm drives, sawzalls. Score! He found a whole freaking garage full of Milwaukee tools in the original box, metal box, in the original cardboard box, unopened. That was a score. And so he got lucky on that one. Dave says, I worked on a crab boat when I was 18 up in Northern California. Dungeness crabs, hard and dangerous work. Well, I didn't cry about how hard I worked, and Dave's not crying either. It is by far dangerous work. I didn't mention it because for me that's to go out and risk my life on a daily basis is normal. A lot of people will get on a crab boat, lobster boat, anything that's hauling traps or nets, and they're on the boat by lunchtime. They're ready. They quit. I quit. It's just too dangerous. Everything is flying around. It's a really the lobster boat that I was on was 40 feet, 38 feet, 55 feet. I worked on different boats. They're all dangerous. Now, how dangerous is it? Oh, it's dangerous. You can get killed so many different ways. And you can get killed instantly. There's no coming back from some of the mistakes that you can make on a lobster boat. One of them is, and I'll just give you one for instance. Okay, so me, and Stanley and Mike, we're on a lobster boat. We're 3 deckhands. Capt and Jimbo's up on top. Or Capt and Pete, depends on which boat you're on. And you don't want to work hard. You don't want to hump every single trap that comes on the boat, onto the boat. And you don't want to hump, you have to hump it off the gunnel to the engine box. Unload it, load it with bait. Unload the lobsters, load the bait, then hump it to the back of the boat. So you don't want to do that. So your other option is to work the hauler, H-A-U-L-E-R, hauler, the hauler. And the hauler is a big shiv, about 14, 16, 18 inches in diameter, and it's run hydraulically. And you got a handle, that looks like this next to the hauler. And you're going like this, and when you go like this, the hauler is hauling up the line. Now, you're going to leave the hauler on, so the hauler's going to haul up the line. The rope goes, the line goes through the hauler, and it catches it down here in the V. And when it grabs onto the line, it hauls. So if you want to make the line stop from hauling, you take the line off the hauler. The line is in the hauler. You want to stop the line from hauling, take the line off the hauler. But when you want to put it on, you just drop the line back into that V, and it'll dog off on its own and grab it. Now, you think, so that job is you got the hauler on, and then you're running, I don't know. You could be running single traps at 110 feet of water, or you could be running a trap line with 10 traps. It just depends on how the captain laid out the traps and what spots he knows. And so the first thing you do you grab the hook, you grab the ball, the buoy with the hook, and you take the buoy. You got to lean over the side of the boat. You got to grab the buoy, and the boat is either in calm water or the boat's like this. It's hard work. You're inside a rubber suit with no life jacket on, and if you fall in the water, it's lights out. You're not going to swim up to the surface. You're not going to hold your breath. You're going to die. You're going to die. So that's the first thing you don't. Now, you could wear a life jacket underneath it, but it's bulky and it gets in the way. No one wears a life jacket. No one did when I worked on the boat. So you throw the rope over the hauler. It grabs into the V, and then you pull down on the buoy. It locks into the V, and the rope, you grab the buoy again. You pull the buoy over to behind you. You throw it behind you, and the rope is going to fall on the floor under the hauler. And while the rope is being hauled up, you're at the edge of the boat. The trap is coming up with the rope. Now, some guys, some captains, and they can go bark at the moon, tell you have gloves on. Hold the line when the haul is coming up, when the rope is coming up. Hold the line so you could squeegee off the green slime from the rope. I tell the captain to go pound sand. I'm not doing that. Because people fish out there, and you can have a fish hook in the line. And if you have your hand on the line squeezing the slime off the rope, and you have your hand on the hauler on and off, are you going to shut the hauler off before your fingers go through the hauler? Because if your fingers go through the hauler, they're going to fall off. That's guaranteed. You're going to lose your fingers or your hand. Okay? So, what you got to do is you got to look for the hook before it comes out of the water. But what if the hook is on the other side of the rope and you can't see it? So Jimbo used to tell me, put your hand on the, squeeze the slime off. Yeah, okay, Cap. You never argue with the captain. Yeah, okay, but I wouldn't do it. What I would do sometimes is I take the brush, and the brush you could put on the rope, but it only cleans one side of the rope. But that's better than nothing. Hey, Cap, I'm cleaning the rope. So that's one way you could lose your hand or your fingers. Dave will confirm that, but I don't need it to be confirmed. Because any real man that's worked out on a fishing boat knows that's one way you can lose your hand or your fingers. Now, the trap hits the side of the boat. Now you got your hand on the hauler for sure, on and off. But you just hold up 125, 140 feet, 160 feet of line. You got 160 feet of line on. The trap hits the side of the boat. You grab the trap. The guy behind you grabs the trap because the traps weigh between 125 and 150 pounds. And then the two of you hump the trap up to the gunnel, and then the two of you put the trap on the engine box. Then I take the rope, I kick the rope to the back of the boat. Stanley and another deckhand, Mike, I worked with Mike for a while. His nickname, everybody had a nickname. Snaggletooth, his nickname was Snaggletooth. Stanley was the biker. No, I forgot what they called me. Probably some kind of New York thing. But anyway, now that those two guys handle, they have to scrape the trap down with a stiff brush, get the slime off the trap, because it gets heavy after a while. Any barnacles, scratch that off. Go in, take the old dead fish heads off the wire, throw that out. Take the lobsters out, sort the lobsters, put new bait in. Then the two of them hump the trap to the back of the boat, and then at some point one of them grabs the line, coils it up, puts it next to the trap or on top of the trap if it's the top trap. Now when you go throwing the traps back in the water, if it's a trawl, T-R-A-W-L, there could be 10 traps. So you put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 traps on the back of the boat. And when you throw your first trap in, you just push it in. It hits the bottom. The second trap comes off the boat, or when the slack runs out. But if you get stuck on a rope in the trawl ropes on the deck, because the bottom traps, the ropes are on the deck of the boat. So after the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 go, the other 4 traps have the ropes on the deck of the boat. If you have your foot inside that rope, you're going in the water, and you're going down with the trap. That's a given. That's going to happen. So there's so many different ways you can get hurt on a lobster boat, and but that putting the hand on the rope and cleaning the slime off the, yeah, okay, Cap, yeah, I got that. I'm right on that. I never did it. I did it a couple of times, and then I said to and then I saw a hook. I did not get hooked with the hook, but I said, no, this is stupid. This is stupid dangerous. There's dangerous with control, and then there's stupid dangerous where the hook comes up on the hidden side of the rope, and it grabs your finger and puts your hand through the trawler shiv, through the hauler, H-A-U-L-E-R, hauler. That's stupid. Jim, you've been on my channel for years. What are you trolling me for? Does it look like I'm in Bantayan Island? Get off my channel. I'll make you disappear. Adios. Hide user on this channel. Don't come on my channel and ask stupid questions. This isn't a stupid question channel. Where does it look like I'm at? Does it look like I'm in a hotel room in Bantayan Island? Don't come on my channel and troll my channel. I don't care who you are. If I don't know, I know who you are. I know your name. I see your name all over the place. Don't come on my channel and troll my channel. Don't ask me stupid questions. You just do that to break up my concentration. He did it, and he paid the price. Do not come on my channel and ask me redundant, stupid, or questions that are self-answerable. Don't do it. You're going to get blocked. I don't care how many people I block. I never cared, and I'm never going to care. Jeez, you have me mistaken for those other 2 bloggers that call themselves bloggers that have no content on YouTube. You have me mistaken for those 2 guys. I have real content on my channel. I have 11,000 videos on my 3 channels. Don't come on my channel and troll me. I'm just going to block you. It's not complicated. Treasure hunt. Dave says, nothing like stuffing bait jar full of half-rotten and disease and half-rotten fish and diesel exhaust in your face while the boat rocks back and forth. Now, see, Dave knows. I can't make you. I have a lot of video. You know what? I'm going to put it down to get my lobster boat videos on this channel, and it's going to happen today because it looks like it's been raining on and off, so it's going to have lobster videos. I'm going to get my lobster boat videos. Jim Schultz. I remember you for years. I know you for years. And you know darn well, Jim Schultz, you want to troll me? You got trolled. You got blocked. Go start another channel. Change the name of your channel. Do whatever you got to do. You come on. I am not those other two guys that they need you to come on and ask them stupid questions because their life is so shallow and empty that they need people to come on. Yeah, the same questions over and over. Where's your girlfriend? What are you going to have for dinner? Who cares? Who really cares? Jim Schultz. Dave says, this is important what Dave said. Dave, excellent. You're on a boat. You could be dead calm. You could be out on glass seas. Or you could be in 3 or 4 foot swells. And let me tell you something. Nobody ever went in because of weather. Nobody. Not my captain. Jimbo, Pete, Ernie, Brian, the 4 guys. Nobody ever came back in because of the weather. So Dave says there's nothing like, and the fish heads that we're putting on, we're taking a piece of wire. We cut the wire up beforehand. We have 10, 15 pounds of wire on the boat. You take the fish head and you put it through the fish head, just the fish head, and you put 3 or 4 fish heads on, and then you tie the fish heads into the trap. But those fish heads have been on the boat maybe since yesterday, and they're already rotten. That's what brings the lobsters to the trap. And they smell like rotten fish heads. There's nothing complicated about fishing. Rotten fish heads are great for crabs and lobster traps. They also use cow skin, but I never used that. Now, and so you're bent over a barrel of putrid fish heads, putrefating fish heads, and you're sticking your hand, oh, by the way, you do this with gloves or without gloves. You're putting your hand in the barrel, and you take it out, and you put 3 heads, 4 heads, 2 heads on the wire, and you stick it into the lobster pot, and it stinks. And then the diesel, see, now that's the part where diesel doesn't bother me at all. I can smell diesel fumes. I love the smell of diesel fumes in the morning. I've always grew up on diesel engine tugboats with my dad, working on barges with diesel engines. We had a diesel generator. I've had 2 diesel, 1 diesel crane, 1 gas crane. I had, at one time in my life, I've owned about 34 diesel engines. I could go through them. They don't bother me at all. I had 4 diesels on the barge, 5 with the welder. 5 diesels on the barge. I had a diesel backhoe, a diesel track hoe, a diesel trenching machine, that's 8. I had 3 different diesel trucks, that's 11. In New York, I had another diesel crane for a short period of time, that's 12. Maybe not 34. 34 engines, but maybe that's 12 diesels. The diesel trenching machine I mentioned. Oh, I had a diesel, couple of diesel generators, that's 14. Maybe I had 16 diesel engines and as many gas engines. Oh, I also had a diesel welder. 2 diesel welders, 1 on land, 1 on the barge. So maybe 17, 18 diesels. I love the smell of diesel. I love that. That doesn't bother me at all. Other people get nauseous. 2 breaths, doesn't bother me. Gas makes me a little nauseous in the morning. In the afternoon, I'm okay. But Dave is right. The smell of the rotten fish heads is weird, just a weird thing to smell. But after you get used to it after a while, I mean, but the worst part about putting the fish heads on the wire was whether you had the gloves are breathable gloves. They're not leather gloves. You don't wear leather gloves. You wear like a fabric, heavy fabric. When you put the wire through the fish head and then it goes into your finger or underneath your nail or something like that, sometimes that hurts. Not all the time, but I mean, it depends if it gets infected or not. It could hurt, but you know, you're basically putting bacteria into a wound. It's not a good thing. So you got to be careful when you're loading up the wire. Scott Del Fuego. Or you won't be coming back. I know the guy's name. Why is he asking me that question? Because they're going to troll me. You're not going to do that. You have me confused with somebody else. I don't. You know, if you'll notice, my views went down. Google has also limited my views for some reason. I have no idea why. I put out good content, and I don't care. If I did this for the views, I would do it completely different. I would let Dave Schultz, or whatever that guy's, Richard John Schultz, Joe Schultz, I would let Jim Schultz on my channel. I don't do this so that I can answer stupid questions. I'm giving you information. Am I still in Bantayan? Does it look like I'm in Bantayan Island? Really? Really? So, moving on. I will tell you this. Working on the fishing boat was big money, even though you wouldn't think it's big money. In 1995, when I moved to Florida in 93, in 95, I was working on a fishing boat, the JIMBO. I have videos. I'm going to bring those videos back. Fishing boat. Did I put that down? I didn't even get to write it down because Jim Schultz interfered with me. Videos. Jim Schultz. Congratulations, Jim Schultz. You got 2 minutes of my time. So, I'm working on the JIMBO. In 1995, I was earning cash money. I think we got paid $175 a day. Per day. But I left the house at 5:30 in the morning. I rode my car around to the other side of the canal. I could see the fishing boat. The JIMBO, from where I lived to where I boarded the JIMBO, was only straight line of sight as the bird flies, as the crow flies, so to speak. The JIMBO might have been 600 feet away, but I had to go around Key Largo Harbor. I got up at 5 o'clock. I was out of the house at 5:30. I was on the boat at 6. We were gone by 6:30, and we were home at 6 o'clock. So it was a 12-hour day for $175. So 12 times 12 would be $144. We were making about $18, $19. 12 times, about $17 an hour. And of course, less taxes. So we were working 6-day weeks. So 6 times 175 is 600. 6 times 7 is 42. 1,000. I took home about $925 a week, cash money after taxes. $925, I think. It was my birthday. I remember I was taking home $925. Whatever I got paid. So I was taking home $925 a week in 1995. That was big money. But I could have opted to be a partner on the boat, on another boat. But sometimes the boat, you would make $30 for the day, and sometimes you'd make $500. So I would have rather have worked for a salary because I needed to be on the books so that I could show the government I was making money, and also the mortgage, the company that I wanted to eventually use to buy a house, I wanted to be on the books, a job on the books. So about $9.25 a week I was taking home, and that was good money, and all the fish I could eat. 2 lobsters a day. On the boat, you were not allowed to cook any fish or lobsters on the boat. But on the boat, I would bring my lunch and my breakfast. There's no stopping that. There's a lot of setbacks to being out on a lobster boat for 12 hours a day, but there's a lot of benefits. It's big money, and it's nice work. It keeps you active, in shape, but it's really dangerous work. So none of you guys, I don't see anybody else commenting that. Dave, I know that Dave is telling the truth because Dave and I have talked for hours and hours online over the years. And Agnes and Daisy speak all the time. So that benefits of working on a fishing boat are big. Money. The setback is everything you own stinks of fish. Everything. The car, your floor mats of your house. You got to get off the boat, into your car, sitting on a piece of visqueen or your truck, and then get from inside your front door into your shower as quick as possible, because you stink. You stink of fish heads. So don't make any mistake about it. You stink. You can't get into a nice car. But anyway, when you're in somebody else's car, what we used to do is we would take everybody home in the trunk. They'd open up the trunk and we'd throw a piece of tarpaulin in the trunk, and 2 or 3 of us would sit in the trunk, because not every boat ported at the same place. So sometimes we would port in a different place and we'd have to get a ride. But yeah, that was fun. So let's see what we got here. And I'm going to get ready to go. Fish smell won't wash off completely. It's fishy oil. It stinks. It stinks really bad. Your whole house will smell of fish after a while. I mean, there's just no way around it. But I lived right now on the ocean, right on the water, on a deep canal. So I always kept the windows open. But it only takes a small amount of fish oil, or the decaying fish, to stink up everything. And your boots, your shoes, your sneakers. Now, we took our sneakers off, of course, but your feet have the water in them from the boots. It's a dirty job, but it's big money, and it was a lot of fun, actually. And I got to meet a lot of people in Key Largo. I got to meet all the people that had fishing boats, all the deckhands. It was fun. Now, I didn't socialize with too many of them, just 2 or 3, but you get to meet 100 people in just a matter of a few weeks. It's like a little community. But all you guys out there, I don't see just Dave, and maybe, I don't know if anybody else worked on the fish. Yeah, Arthur Yellow is here. Arthur Yellow, in honor of Arthur Yellow. Where is it? It's around here somewhere. Arthur Yellow, there it is. I remember those guys. Some guys go up Arthur Yellow. And yellow is the color of God. So if you paint your tools yellow, your tools are blessed. Blessed be thy tools from God. And Arthur Yellow says, some guys think going out on vacation and hanging on the side of a dock and taking pictures is the same as working on a fishing boat. I've seen those stories. Yeah, I mean, here, look, watch this. I'm going to take a picture of this So I took a picture of this plate. I am a plate maker. Yeah, it's true. I make ceramic plates for this ceramic plate company. Oh, wait, look at this pen. I want to take a picture of this pen. Snap, I took a pen. I make pens. But wait a minute. Let me go stand next to that handrail with that fishing boat in the back. Oh, see that fishing boat? With the guy on the fishing boat going like that? See that guy? I worked on that boat. He's just scratching his head. Yeah, you get a lot of stories. There's a lot of stories in the naked city. That's true. Art the Yellow. That brought back some memories. So I have actual videos of, you know what I'll do? I'll just go get, I'll get you a lobster video right now. I'll get you a lobster video. Is nuts. You got that. Anybody doubting Michael after the videos is nuts. I'll go get the video right now. I'll open up this page here. I'll go here. I can't do that. This is going to take a minute, but I'm gonna get you those videos. If I have it on this channel, I'll put down lobster, LOBSTER. But if I don't, LOBSTER. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. That's a boat that was down the canal from me. All 17 lobster boat videos. That's strange. All my lobster videos are private. The Hannah, the Little Hog. I'm looking for the Catherine Marie. That's private also, huh? I just found 17 videos that are private that I can make public. But I'm looking for the Jimbo. Let me put Jimbo down. If I don't have it on this channel, I have it on the other. Nothing with Jimbo. So what I need to do is go here. I need to do this. I need to switch channels. I'm going to get you. I have to switch accounts. I'm going to go to Hoodwinked. Then I'm going to go to my videos. Hold on a minute. I have thousands of videos. That's what I've been doing all week, bringing videos over from Hoodwinked over to my alpha male because I am. But I don't lie about this crap. You have people that come on. Oh, God, there are people that lie. Oh, God, do they lie. It's an amazing thing. They'll stand in front of a car, like a Corvette or a Nova or a GTX, or they'll stand a GT6 Plus. They'll stand in front of a car, next to the car, not in the car, not sitting in the driver's seat, and say, I own that car. Where's your proof? With me, I have the registrations for the barge, the Ocean Racer, the Coast Guard documentation that Michael Thomas Fazio owns this barge, to the person that said, you didn't prove I own a barge. I told you I will prove it to you for $1,000. You come here and I'll show you the documentation from the Coast Guard. But you have to put $1,000 on the table. And when I show you the documentation, I take the money. I don't have to show you people anything. If you want to make a wager that I don't have permits, I don't have plans, I don't have registrations for the Ocean Racer, the Senate Console, the Cobra, the dump truck. If you want to make some wagers, we'll do that. I don't have to do that. I showed you my visitation to the tax office. And then I didn't see any money over there. I don't have to show you money over the counter. I don't have to do that. I am not your wife, your girlfriend, or your child. I don't take orders from you people. So if you want to wager $1,000, I'll show you documentation that but I owned the barge. I had that barge for 11 years. I don't have to prove it to anybody. I know I owned it. And I have documentation. I even have, why would I be bringing it from Michigan to New York and then operate it for 12 years, 11 and a half years, and then bring it to Florida and have a for sale video for the new owner, Nicholas Capt? Because I owned it. So you people that are too stupid to understand that when I say something it's the truth, you can make a wager, and I'll wager you that I owned the barge or the Ocean Racer. We have an idiot that said that the boat that said On Time Backhoe on the side of the boat, which was the name of my company, there is an idiot that said, well, that was the name of the company I worked for. So it's behind my house, on my davits, in my backyard, for 10, 11, 12 years, with my name of my company on the boat. I'm the only person that anybody ever been on the boat, but I didn't own the boat. Because he's too stupid to understand I owned the boat. Well, it's a story. Not a story. I offered $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 wages. Wager me some money, I'll show you the documentation. But other than that, I don't work for you people. I don't owe you any extra. If I say something's true, by now you should understand it's the truth. If you don't believe it's the truth, then wager me some serious money. You people have a propensity to send money to people that are completely useless on the internet, that serve no purpose, not only on the internet, but in life in general. You send them money. So if you want to show how much extra money you have, make a wager to me in something you think you can win, and I'll give you you come here, put the money on the table, we'll go to the building department with my plans, you'll lose the money. 7 stamps on the permits and the plans, $7,000. $1,000 for each stamp. The Ocean Racer, $1,000 for the registration. Cobra, $1,000 to show you the registration. Truck, $1,000 to show you the registration. I probably even have the original bill of sale for the barge from Mike Wills. MikeWills. Probably have the original documentation. You people are really fools. Anyway, I got that video. You people are funny as all get out. So here is lobster fishing in the Florida Keys on the Captain Jimbo. Let me, I have a 24, I'm going to bring them all over. Not now, though, trap hauling. Okay, so I'm going to give you one called Trap, T-R-A-P, hauling. Let's see how many views. That's public, okay. So this boat, my brother's taking the video. What's going on now? On this boat, it's called the Captain Jimbo. And that's a 10-minute video. And I'll let you guys watch it while I finish my breakfast. And I have... I'm going to just leave this up. I have 7 videos on fishing boats, lobstering. I don't know if they're all Captain Jimbo or not, but let's go over here. I'll put the video link in there. Treasure hunt with Captain Dave. Good night, Dave. So say good night to Aggie for me. Thank you very much. Thanks, Dave. I just wanted to say hello for the holidays. And Nothing else. Just say hello. I always keep in touch with the people I keep in touch with, and you're one of them. Thank you for stopping by, Dave. We got disconnected. Okay, so now there's the video from Hoodwink. Now I'm going to bring all of those videos over. That's what I've been doing for the last. Oof. Well, I also have to upgrade the drone. For those of you who don't know, and I like to keep you guys up. I wanted to do some drone videos this week, but the tide is low now, and it's low all afternoon. I want to do a high tide video, and in the morning when the tide was high, there was no sun. I want to do a noon video where the sun is above, so that there's the minimum refraction off the water from the sunlight to show you the reef underneath the water. I did a couple at low tide last week. I want to do high tide, noon, minimum refraction, and the tide is low it's low all afternoon here. It's low now. So my point is, I wanted to use the drone. I set the drone up to prep it. You have to prep the drone before you use it, because the batteries lose power, and the phone also, you have to also keep a load in the phone, a data load. So I went to put the data load on yesterday. It wants to update. So they are now DJI, in case anybody out there has a drone. DJI updates are for, they do some things with the camera that I have no interest in, but the drone won't fly unless you put the update in. And the new updates include registration, SIM card registration. I saw it on a video I watched yesterday, and I saw that it wanted to update, and I didn't update it. It was late last night when I saw the update. I had charged everything up and then saw the update. So they want that new thing that you're supposed to register your phone. That's in effect. That's in effect. And DJI has made it part of the update. So I don't know what that means, because I've never watched the video about the updates, but that's what it means. And that's it. So I'm going to finish my breakfast, which for breakfast this morning I made 3 eggs, big, large eggs. Large eggs here in the Philippines now are 220 pesos. For 30 eggs. Now, that's 7.1 cents. No, 7.1 peso per egg. So eggs are 15 cents each for large eggs. 15 cents a piece. Which is not bad. They're up from large eggs 2 years ago was 6 pesos each egg. So it only went up 15% in a year. However, other things went up a lot. Pork went to 280 from 230, which is 20%. 230 to 280, that's a 50 peso difference. It's like 18% pork went up in the last year. Milo, which is what Daisy likes, we buy a kilo of Milo. That was $2.90, now it's $3.70. That went up 30%. Sugar is the same. Coconut oil went from, for a liter, It went from 290 to 330. So 10% of 30. That went up 10%. Peanut butter, off the charts. We will not be buying peanut butter again. For two reasons. First thing they did, Skippy's peanut butter, I guess they have to do it, but I will never buy peanut butter again. I don't care. Peanut butter was $4.70, $4.69 a year ago. Okay, 469 pesos. I'll get you the container. Skippy jammed it in deep. Skippy jammed it in. Jammed it in deep. I'll never buy Skippy again. You want to see highway robbery? Highway robbery. They are going up in prices. It's ridiculous. It's not even a normal price jump for Skippy peanut butter. It's not even reasonable. It's not even justifiable. I will never buy another container of Skippy peanut butter again. Scott says, deep and dry peanut butter jam. They jammed it in. Okay, this was same size container. .48 ounces, 1.36 kilograms. So it's 1.4 kilos, 1.4. First thing they did, now how do I know this? Well, I had bought like 10 of these jars of peanut butter. When we got locked down in 2020, I went out and bought enough food to last a year if I never went to the stores again, ever. I wouldn't have to go to the stores again for anything for a year. In March of 2020, couldn't even fit what I bought in the tricycle. I bought a year's food supply for me. At that time, Daisy was in Mindanao. A year. I bought 10 of these, and I paid $3.69, if I remember correctly. Okay. Recently, like 3 months ago when Daisy came back, she wanted peanut butter. I bought it again. It was 499, 500 pesos. About 3 months ago, it was 500 pesos. So it went up from 2020, from 2020, I bought 10 of these containers of peanut butter, 10. I bought 10 of almost everything except sauce. I bought 50 kilos of sauce, and I bought 50 kilos, 25 kilos of rice and 25 kilos of spaghetti. And then I bought, I don't know how many bags of chips, prawn chips that you fry up. I still have probably a lot. Six more kilos of prawn chips. I know that you find that hard to believe, but still, I bought a lot of them. So this went from $3.69 to $500 from 2020, March, to $500 in 2022. So it went up 130 pesos from 370. It went up about 30% in those 2.5 years. So in March, when Daisy came back, no, May. In May, when Daisy came back, I bought one of these for 500 pesos. 500. And it was peanut butter, the same weight, except it was watered down peanut butter. When the other, since I was a baby, peanut butter, you put it on a spoon, you could turn it upside down, nothing happened. This new mix, you turn the spoon upside down and count to 10 and it falls off the spoon. It's watered down. Now it's 500 pesos and it's watered down. So not only did they water it down, they probably took 10 or 15% of the product out of the container, but they raised the price from 500 pesos to 570 pesos. So they raised it up 15%, and they took 10% of the product out and added water or oil. I don't know which one. And I bought it because I didn't know they had thinned it out. 570. So it went up 15%, and then they watered it down or put oil in it. I don't know what kind of oil. I have no idea how that works. I bought it for Daisy. She ate it. I'll never buy it again. So now, in 2.5 years, peanut butter went from 369 to 570. That's 200 pesos more. That's 60% increase in price in 2.5 years. Inflation in the Philippines is absurd. 60 plus 70% increase for the price of peanut butter. One of the most common staples in the world, worldwide, are peanuts. And Skippy felt that they had to bend you over at the cash register. I'll never buy it again. I won't. I'll buy another one. I'll try, there's another brand of peanut butter I use. What's the other? I forget the name of the other one because I always eat Skippy. But 60% increase in 2.5 years for one item. Sauce went from $1.50 per kilo. I don't have the bill. I think it was $1.98. So that went up 30% since the last time I bought sauce. But that was back in 2020 because I bought enough sauce to last me for 2 years. I still have. I bought coffee like you wouldn't believe. I bought so much coffee. And I also bought the prawns. The prawns, the fish fry thing. I probably bought 20 kilos of that stuff. I bought enough food to last 1 year. Rice, 25 kilos. Spaghetti, 25 kilos. Sauce, 50 kilos. Peanut butter, 13 kilos. Coffee, 50 packages. 50, 60, I don't know, a lot. Of 200 cups per package, it says 50 or 60. Now it went some absurd price coffee. It was $147 for coffee. Now it's up around $180. So it went up 40 pesos, which is 30%, almost 25%. The prices here are they're just smothering us with prices. Price increases. Not that I changed my eating habit. Pork, at some point, pork went up to, what is pork now? At some point, pork went up to $3.80, but now it's down to $3.20 again. The pork went down. The price of the The shuttles between BQ Mall and ICM, they went from 10 pesos to 15 pesos, and they came down to 12 pesos now. I don't know why they took them down, but they did. I thought that was really nice, that they did that for the Filipino people that have to go back and forth all day on shuttles. But gas has been reduced in price from 195 per liter to 165. So that's down 30 pesos, or 30 pesos is 60 cents per liter. It's down $2.50 a gallon. That's a big drop. And that's it. That's all I have to say. Oh, I got to start bringing videos over to this channel. So I'm going to bring over a couple of my lobster boat videos, and you could see what it's like to work on a lobster boat. Not a big one. Boat was about 40 feet long. I worked on 55-foot lobster boats. The risky business was 55, I think. A couple of them were in their 50s. I forget the names of the boats. The Hannah Catherine, the Hannah Marie. I didn't like working on that boat. I worked on it, but it had a dry exhaust, and the exhaust was coming up through the floor, and the muffler was about that big, around 16 inches around, and then it went straight up against the flying bridge, but it generated 400-degree heat all day long in the middle of the summer and the winter. It was just too hot, and it just was too hot. And then he got the Hannah Catherine. I didn't mind working on that boat. They built the boat, and it had wet exhaust, but I didn't like working on that boat, only because of the dry exhaust, because of the heat. You guys have no idea what it's like working on a lobster boat. You never will. So I'll post that video. I'm going to go post that video right now, the one I just pulled up. Have a nice day. I'm Bing Permy for Michael Fazio, and of course, Daisy May, who will be returning shortly. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye for now. Wrong apparatus. Bye-bye, Scott. Scott, thank you for stopping by and moderating, and thanks for the link, Scott. I'm Bing, which means take care always. From the Philippines, baby.